started, laying all the way down onto our backs. Enjoy a few good breaths flowing into the body. Nice, slow, long exhale flowing out. That's a wonderful way to help slow and calm things down, helping us realize that this moment can be a peaceful moment if we let it be such. So keep that breath for a little while. A nice deep inhale all the way into the belly. And then that long, slow exhale. Keep the breath flowing just like that as I introduce you to our class today. Today's going to be a kind of a fun one because our idea today is to give our wrists a break. Our hands and our wrists do so much work for us all day long. And it's really good in yoga classes when we can strengthen the wrists and all those bones around it by doing things like downward facing dog and chaturanga. But sometimes it's nice to also have a break where we're not using our hands, where our hands are simply there to be a nice gentle placement and a reminder, and they're not needing to take so much weight. And so that's our intention today. And the idea that we have behind it is simply to be kind to our body. Sometimes parts of our body need a break. And so it's the highest kindness we can do to simply give it the break. There was a point where I just very acutely, so within just a couple of days, I did way more typing than anybody should have. It was pretty much all day long. And my wrists just ached, and I couldn't really use them for quite a while, for a good 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks or so. They just wanted to have a break. So this is one of those types of classes for when, just to teach our body what it's like to have that break, to not need to use it. And so that's the simple idea that will carry us on. That doesn't mean that our class will always be easy through the whole thing. We'll still have balance challenges. We'll still make ourselves, work and get through some hard things. But our wrists get to have this kind break. And so with that idea to carry us on, let's begin to take the knees inward. We can gently place a hand on each knee as we rock the legs around. Little circles or backward and forward motions, left and right, whatever's feeling kind on that sacrum, that low back, the hips. And we still have this wonderful breath. A long, deep inhale, an even longer, slower exhale. And then releasing this left leg, you can either keep it planted or stretch it all the way along. From there, right leg gets to stretch up to the sky. Does it feel helpful to use our hands, clasping them behind the thigh or calf? Or do we just want to work without hands on this one, working to muscularly straighten it and maybe loosening up the ankle and the toes? So completely your choice right here. The right hand comes onto the inside of the right leg. I like to wrap the hand around the thigh or maybe around the calf. And then from there, it helps to weigh the leg down as we start to open it wide out to the right side. It doesn't have to go super far. In fact, we don't want the left hip to lift off the ground. So it's only as deep as it feels really helpful for the inner thigh and even for the hip. From here, that straight leg comes back up, The right leg starts to cross over to the left side, and the left hand simply rests on the outer part of the leg. This helps to weigh it down, getting into the IT band. You can play with how high up or how far down the angle of the leg is, but the tilt is about 45 degrees. For me, that's right about that spot where it starts to allow the femur to loosen out of its joint, out of its socket just a little bit, so that that surrounding tissue, even that surrounding fluid, the synovial fluid, gets a chance to kind of loosen up any of the gas that may be in that spot. Sometimes you get a nice pop in the hip. That's just that loosening up of the gas in the synovial fluid. Take one more good inhale, and then exhale, let the knee bend, send the knee all the way into the twist. Gradually working its way all the way left. This is like a gift for the low back, helping it to have a nice chance to twist, starting to free up some of the tightness that may have happened in our spine while we were sleeping. So now gently return the hip back down, and then this right leg gets a chance to stay down. So is the foot planted or is it long? It's your choice. Once you're there, take the left leg in. Again, you've got the options. Are you clasping hands around thigh or shin? Are you simply letting the muscular effort of the leg hold it upward? And what's the best quality here? Loosening up the ankles or really extending the heel as high up as possible? Start to bring the left hand to wrap around the inner thigh. And then we can allow this leg to start to travel to the left side. Again, remember, don't lift right hip off the ground. If you even shoot some energy down that right leg, that can be helpful for helping it not tilt. We're only lowering to a good degree to start feeling the inner thigh really open for us in a very nice way. The leg rises back up, left hand takes over, tilt it to the 45-degree angle as you start to open up that femur area, the very hip connection. Bending the knee, we send this one into that nice twist. The low back gets its chance to open. Feel the body relaxing here. Just noticing the breath. Is it still able to be that deep inhale with a long exhale? Take another good breath in. And exhale, return the hips back down. Let's bring the fingertips behind the ears. And then twist the right elbow up to try to touch that left knee. Right leg hovers above the ground. Let's do a few of these nice switches. Realizing we can build strength without having to strain the wrists. If you're needing to make this a little bit more gentle right now, point the toes directly up and down for the leg that extends. To make it harder, find an angle that's a lot lower to extend out to. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Amazing work. Let's roll it. Come on to start sitting up. If that rolling backwards again feels nice, like a little massage for the spine, take a few of those. If you prefer to come directly up, heading into a cobbler's pose would be a great option for you. We all eventually end up right here. Notice the hips just kindly, very kindly open. As we roll back up, try to grab onto your ankles just to help the spine get set up in a very tall alignment. And then from this placement, let's try to do a few cat-cow spines. So with our exhale, see how far back the spine can go. Notice the pelvic tilt. And then as we start to straighten back up, let the heart go forward and through. Notice the low back. See if you can get the low back to arch forward. Good. No need to rush it. Go very slow. And just notice when the hips are open like this, it does change the ability of your spine to move in these directions. So this is helping us to build awareness of our body. Take one more time, going backwards and forwards. Good. Return the spine back upright. Leave the left leg in. Right gets to stretch out to a nice long angle. From here, right hand goes on the inside of the right leg. Left hand circles up and over. Feel the whole body starting to stretch out really long. Rise up. Place one hand on either side of the floor on that right leg, and then begin to slide both hands downward. Slide back up, switch the legs out. Left hand is on the inside of the left leg, right arm stretches up and over. Good, rising up. One hand on either side of the left leg, and then slide back down. Enjoying 3 more breaths. then as we rise once again, find yourself in a comfortable seated position. And here we're going to take a moment for our neck. So drop the right ear over the right shoulder. And allow your right hand to rest on the top ear. Left fingers float off to the left side. If it's too much for the neck, the top hand doesn't have to be there. Now the right hand drops down. Tilt the head slightly behind the shoulder. Jaw rotates upward. Bring the ear back over the shoulder where it was. And then bring the head slightly in front of the shoulder, tilting the nose down. Good. Release the chin all the way to the chest and pause right there. When the head rolls back up, second side, left ear over left shoulder. Right fingers can reach out to the right. Maybe left hand rests on the top ear. Releasing that top hand, the head tilts slightly behind the shoulder, jaw rotates up. Ear back over the shoulder. And then nose down as the head goes slightly in front of the shoulder. Drop the chin all the way down to the chest once again. And then rolling the head up, take your hands, bring your thumb in to touch as deep to the palm as it can, and then open the thumb back out as wide as it can. Repeating thumb, 4, and out. 3, 2, 1, and pointer finger in and out. 4, 3, 2, 1, middle finger. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ring finger. 4, 3, 2, 1, pinky finger. 4, 3, 2, 1. Whole wrist curls in like a claw and then flexes all the fingers back out wide as far as you can reach. 4 more of those, curling in and flexing back. 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. We come up onto hands and knees, and we give our wrists a gentle, gentle stretch after that. What we do is we turn each of the hands to have the fingers rotate outward. So fingers to left and right. Allow the knees to go nice and wide, and then start to let your body and your shoulders lean to the right. A gentle stretch for the wrists. Lean to the left. Right and left. If you need to make this deeper, you can walk the wrists closer together. Just make sure that you're not touching the skin, just so that you're not rubbing the bone on bone, essentially. And once more to each direction. Good. And then rise up to a nice high kneeling position. Simply let the wrists roll out in a very kind, very gentle way. From here, place the fingertips very lightly on the ground. And from there, take a nice rounded cow position through your spine, lifting your shoulder blades up as high as possible. And then drop the belly down, gaze up. One nice cat. Beautiful. From there, tuck the toes. And then straighten the legs into a forward fold at the back of the mat. The wrist can simply dangle in a way that feels very helpful. With our next inhale, circle the arms through the sides, stretch up, arch back, and then allow the hands to drop down right in front of the heart. Hands continue to lower down to each of our hips to make sure that hips stay square forward. Take your right foot and take one small step, about 1.5 foot difference between the feet. A little step forward. Keeping the hips square, we begin to bend forward. Nice. Halfway point. Perhaps hands are happy to drop down to the thigh, the shin, maybe the floor. Bending the knees, round your spine as you come all the way up. Step the left foot forward. And take that same pyramid pose all the way down. We bend the knees to roll up. And then both feet step up to the top of the mat. Take a nice arch of the hands circling up to the sky. Spine gets to lean backwards. And then a nice forward fold. From the forward fold, slide the hands up the thighs. A nice halfway lift. And from this position, we're going to take a few more cat-cows. So round the vertebrae. Go through flat and then arch. Notice how there's a little part of your hips that is able to scoop under to create that low back arch. So take a few rounds of this, cat and cow. Feel how doing it in this alignment rather than kneeling includes different muscle groups. We're feeling the hamstrings, we're feeling the calves, we're feeling the shoulders in a different way. So just take one more set. And then slide the hands back down, just enjoying the forward fold. Right foot lunges back. The right fingertips stay on the ground. With the fingertips only, very lightly touching, see if you can float the left hand up to the sky in a twist. No pressure on the wrists. Just that gentle lift up the fingertips. If you even lifted the hand, your shoulders couldn't stay in the same position. It's such light weight on the fingers. Drop this left hand down and slide the right foot forward. We're in that great forward fold. Sliding the hands up the legs. We're to half lift. Take a cat. Take a cow. And slide back down. Left foot lunges to the back. Left fingertips stay on the ground. Right fingertips begin to raise. Again, such little weight on the fingers that you could play for a moment lifting the left hand up and down, and your spine would still be twisting in the same shape. Good, the hand comes down, step back up to the top of the mat. Enjoy the legs getting longer and longer each time we do a motion through a forward fold. Inhale, rise. Arching up and back. And finding the hands together in front of the heart. Here we play for a moment with eagle's pose. So allow the right side to cross over the left side. If the toes stay on the ground, that's the kickstand version. If you're bending the standing leg and wrapping the right toes around the left calf, that's the deeper version. So you choose how deep your body's willing to go with your balance today. The arms have two options. The deeper version, right elbow winds under the left, palms wrapping entirely, and then elbows lift up. If that's not working for your shoulders today, wrap your hands around the back side of your shoulders and simply walk them back like a big hug. Playing with this balance. Take 2 more breaths. Open everything up. Take a little arch backwards with the spine. And second side, left toes cross over. Maybe you're deepening the sitting bones down like we're about to sit into a chair. Left elbow winds under, and we're here, eagle. Again, remember you can do the hug with left elbow under as well. Good, unwind, step the foot down, arch the heart back, and release. Standing on the left foot again, the right foot comes up into tree pose. Feel your spine lifting up tall rather than leaning forward or backward. Feel the knee opening. And know that the foot doesn't have to be this high if that's not working today. If the balance is okay, you're opening up the arms from here. If not, just stay exactly where you are. And let's try to twist the torso toward the bent knee. See if you can maintain the balance. And return forward. Try to twist the torso away from the bent knee without taking the knee with you. And return. Right foot down, left foot up. Again, you don't have to go quite up this high up your thigh. Just make sure you're not pushing directly on the knee. The knee doesn't need that extra pressure. Good. If this is working out with your balance, open the arms. And let's rotate our torso toward left knee. And return. And then away from left knee. And return. Good. Step that one down. Maybe shake the feet out for a moment. Here we're going into a nice eagle's pose again. Left foot stands down, right foot wraps around, whichever version you got today. Maybe sitting the hips back, right elbow under. Take 2 more breaths with this simple balance. And then unwind the arms, bringing the arms right up by the ears. Drop the left hand down and see if you can allow the right hand to tilt to the left side, just a couple of inches. Good. Both arms back up. Drop the right hand down and maybe lean to the right side just a little bit. Good. Both arms back up. Bring this right knee to unwind, floating up in front of you. Kick back through warrior three. Maybe a nice easy angle. And then land that foot, warrior one position. From here, bring the arms down by the sides and start to lean forward. We're leaning forward to get a little bit closer to that front thigh, hoping to feel those muscles working for stability. See if you can increase the angle to about a 90-degree angle in that front knee. Maybe lean the torso a little bit further. And then so far, you're almost touching the thigh. Clasp the hands behind your back if possible. Try to pull into a nice shoulder stretch behind you. Good. Releasing the arms down. Circle them all the way back up to the sky. Warrior one. Continue to open into warrior two. Triangle pose. The front leg straightens out. Reach the left hand forward to help the pelvis. And then drop the left hand down very, very lightly on those fingers. Right hand up. Beautiful. Rising back up. Cartwheel the fingertips to the ground to help you step up to the top of the mat. A nice forward fold. So the legs growing even longer. Inhale, circle arms through the sides, stretch up, arch back. Hands to the heart. Eagle's pose, second side. We're standing on the right foot. Maybe the hips start to sit back as you cross the left leg over the right. Maybe toes wrapping. Left elbow under the right. Elbows lifting just slightly. Keep the leg wrap as you unwind the arms, bringing them up by the ears. Drop the right hand down and lean slightly to the right side. Arms back up, drop the left hand down, lean slightly to the left side. Back up, straighten the standing leg, left leg floats. Kick back through warrior three. Perhaps arms are able to stay right up by the ears. And eventually land very gently, warrior one. Front knees bending. The arms drop down by our sides and we lean forward to the first angle. The knee, we are able to look down at it. So see if it's right over the ankle. Perhaps we can scoot the back leg back just an inch or so to help us feel the work of that standing front leg. Maybe lean forward again. Maybe one more angle right over the thigh, over the shoulders. Clasp the hands behind the back. Pull it into a nice shoulder stretch. Good. Release. Circle the arms up through warrior one. Open up to warrior two. And then triangle pose. Front leg goes straight. Reach forward to feel the hips lean. And then the right hand down, left hand up. Beautiful. Circle back up. This time, turn the toes forward. Hands can be at the hips or perhaps clasped behind the back as we start to lean forward. If the arms are behind the back, pull them into a nice shoulder stretch for a few breaths. And then as we release the hands down to the ground, we take this forward fold as another chance, not only to stretch the legs, but to be with the wrists. So see if you can place the back of each hand onto the ground in front of you, getting that gentle wrist stretch going on. Unwind the arms, placing them the normal way, just palms down on the ground. And from this placement of the hands, simply walk the hands a couple of inches backwards, forearms trying to straighten out as much as possible until you get that very good flexion through the wrists, that nice stretch. Try to keep all the knuckles pushing down into the ground. Some of them like to arch. That takes some of the stretch out of it. Good, release the wrists. Allow the spine to drop even lower if possible as you simply roll the wrists out. Fingertips find the ground. And then the fingertips walk over to the right side, bend the right knee, either a high lunge or this nice low inner thigh stretch. You even have this option to bring hands to the heart, trying to balance in this lunge. Good, fingertips down, work your way over to left side. Maybe the balance. Good, fingertips down. We're back through the nice forward fold, legs straightening. And then heel to the feet inward to the point where they're just a little bit wider than the sitting bones. So slightly wider than the hips, and then we sit down into Malasana pose. The elbows trying to push into the inner parts of the knees, helping the hips open up in a very nice way. And the wrists getting this just gentle, kind flexion, the stretch as they press against one another. If they need a little bit more, drop them down just an inch or so to help stretch it out. Right fingertips make their way to the ground. See if you can even slide the right shoulder a little bit closer to the knee. And as left hand reaches up to the sky, do a few nice wrist rolls. Back through the center in that flexion, that wrist stretch. And then left fingertips to the ground, slide the left shoulder down, right hand up to the sky. Do a few nice little wrist rolls. Good. Coming back through the center, another moment with the wrist pressure. And then dropping the hands down, straighten the legs back up. Turn the toes forward. Legs are still just a little bit wider than hips. Feel how this stretches compared to the legs being very wide. And then heel toe the legs together again until heels are right under hips. Occasionally there's people here that are flexible enough to start stepping on your fingertips Taking your feet onto your palms. So if you can reach that, go for it. If not, don't worry. Just have the wrist in a nice, comfortable fashion. And begin to release the hands. Take an inhale, circle up to the sky, arch back. Exhale, hands down to the heart. Coming back up to the top of the mat, we've got another little flow. And so starting off again with that eagle's pose. Right thigh over left. Right elbow under left. Find the balance that works for you. 3 more breaths. Leave the arms this time. Straighten the standing leg. Bring the right knee up, maybe even kicking the legs out in front of you, that nice strength. Swing that straight leg back as you tilt your torso forward, warrior 3. And then land the right toes at the back of the mat, heel goes down, elbows lift up to the sky for a nice arch. Unwind the arms, circling the arms up to the sky. And then from here, lean the arms right up by the ears, forward. Prepare to take your weight onto that front leg as we bring the right knee into the chest. Exhale. Lean back. Exhale, back up to balance. And back. 3 more of those. 3, 2, 1, land the leg back, and then rotate open, warrior 2. Allow the front elbow to go down onto the front thigh, maybe fingertips just tented on the floor. This top arm starts to stretch forward toward the top of the mat. Rising back up through warrior 2, reverse it. And rising up. And from here we try out half moon pose. Cartwheeling the hands down, left hand goes out to the outside edge of the mat. Hips try to stack. Right arm tries to stack. Now this is a fun place to play right here. We have an option to see if you can keep your torso in exactly the same position. Maybe lifting left hand off the ground, hand coming to the heart for a moment. And you can drop the hand back down if the balance needs it. If you're doing okay, maybe twice more. Left hand to the heart and down. The heart and down. Good. Drop the right hand. Lift this right leg up to the sky even higher, like a split. And then drop that right foot down. Take a few good breaths. Inhale, circle up to the sky. And hands to the heart. One more side with that. So send the hips back. Wind the left thigh over the right. Left elbow under the right. Eagle's pose. 3 more breaths. Straighten the standing leg. Bring this left leg to float. Maybe even to kick out in front of us. Swing that straight leg back behind. Warrior 3 tilt. Land the toes at the back of the mat and the heel. Elbows reach up to the sky. Release the arms, circle up to the sky. We lean the torso slightly forward, preparing the front leg to take our weight. As we come up to stand, bring the left knee in and reach it right back. 4, 3, 2, 1. This time stay. Take an inhale. Exhale, open, warrior 2. Front elbow to front thigh, or front fingertips down. Left arm forward. Good, cartwheel up. And then the back hand gently backward, front knee is still bent. Lean the right hand back. Good. Our last little challenge in this series, we start to cartwheel into half moon pose. Right fingertips are on the ground. Stack the shoulders, stack the hips, try to lift that back leg up. And feel the strength of your core, including your spine in a nice long angle. If the balance is there, to try to go handless. Right hand comes up to the heart. And maybe back down. Twice more if you'd like to play with a few more cycles. Good. Left hand drops down. The back leg has one more kick to lift up high. And then both feet are in that nice standing forward fold. Heel toe the feet together. So big toes are touching, heels are slightly separated. Here we come into a low squat, balancing right over the heels. If you need fingertips on the ground, try to get fewer and fewer of them there. If you can lift the hands to that balance at the heart, try to take that option. Another good inhale. And then exhale, one hand goes to the ground in front of you, one hand behind you. Gently lower the hips down. Straighten the legs out in front of you. And let's take a well-deserved forward fold. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, release the spine entirely. Spine straightens back up. The right leg slides into plant. So right foot is planted on the inside of this left leg. And then from here, the left hand grabs the knee or the left elbow grabs the knee so that the spine can straighten up to the sky and start to twist, gazing behind you. Maybe the back fingers are on the ground. Maybe you even lift them up handless to reach behind you. Beautiful. Return the spine. Pick up the right foot. If possible, set it to the outside of the left leg now. Continuing to tuck the toes in, the knees trying to stack on top of the left knee. From there, circle up to the sky with the hands. Exhale, forward fold. Rising the spine up, the left leg swivels in to the right hip. So now both knees are stacked, both feet are to opposite sides. Again, if this isn't working, you can always drop down to a simple cross-legged shape. And one more time here, straighten the spine, walk the fingertips forward. Okay, second side, right leg's long, left foot is planted, and we take the twist. So right hand or right elbow hooks, the spine twists, and you can decide, are left fingertips resting on the ground or floating behind you? What's working for your spine today? return forward, set this left foot to the outside of the right, even tucking the toes back if possible. Inhale, circle up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. And rising up, slide the bottom foot in. This last chance to have the knees stacked, and then walk forward. Again, simple cross leg is a variation if this isn't working. Good. Rising up, the legs release to a simple seated place. We take one last movement for the arms. So with our inhale, we curl the fingers in and reach the arms up overhead. And exhale, flex the hands back the other way, lowering them down. So it's like the Karate Kid. We're painting the fence. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Take 3 more sets to really move through that wrist stretch as long as possible. 2. And 1. Great efforts. From here, we make our way down onto our back for our final Shavasana. Obviously, know if you need to do any last stretches before you can release, that's always going to be okay. Eventually, when you're in this Shavasana shape, just let your breath flow. Enjoying wonderful inhales and returning to that long, slow exhale. Begin to deepen the inhale and the exhale. Introduce little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. stretching out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. Eventually taking a nice fetal position off to one side. Perhaps another good breath or two until you're ready to rise up. As we rise, we join the hands together in front of the heart. And we travel forward into this day with this intention of being extra kind to ourselves. Whatever that means. Does it mean the wrists continuing on nice and kind the rest of the day? Does it mean a different area of the body? Does it mean emotional or social? Trying to really be kind to people today. So whatever it is that is your way of embodying kindness today, that's the idea that will help lead us onward. And so with this to lead us, let's wrap up this wonderful time we got to share together with a sound of Om. Inhaling together now. Om. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.